All right, welcome back. All right, Team Porter is reiterating. Bob, Arum, Terence, Crawford, send the contract. Let's fight. And you know Bob Arum and Terence Crawford ain't going to do it. In fact, Kenny Porter says, hey, look, all that talk that Bob Arum was doing about making the fight, I ain't heard nothing from him. Hey, maybe it's just all smoke. You know, the infamous smoke and mirrors. But let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. Subscribers, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell icon. Look, what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter and how Kenny Porter, in an interview, I believe it was on Fight Hub, said the same thing that he said on 78 Sports TV's channel way before that. And in between those two, I do believe he also said it on Blue Blood Sports TV's channel. So this ain't nothing new. Send us the contract. We would love to fight Terence Crawford. So all of that, Shawn Porter said he doesn't want to fight Terence Crawford stuff is out the window. And Bob Arum, though, despite saying that he would like to make the fight, Kenny Porter has confirmed that he has not received a call. And he said, hey, it could be a difficult fight. It's not always easy to make a fight, but the way that you start making a fight is that you call and you start the conversations, and they won't even do that. Now, I wonder why that is. It could be the same reason that Bob Arum never called. I don't think Bob Arum ever called Al Heyman about the Errol Spence Jr. fight, but maybe he did a ways after. No, you know what? I don't think he ever called him about it, but he spoke to him he said that he spoke to him about it in the lead up while he was sitting down talking about the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight. Okay, that's what Bob Arum said. But I don't believe he ever picked up a phone and called Al Heyman specifically for the purposes of making an Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford fight. I've not heard that be the case. I think they had a tangential conversation while they were discussing the fight that they were actually going to make, which is Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. A fight, by the way, that had already been made without Bob Arum. Now, I do believe, though, that the reason I don't believe, however, that that's the reason why he's not called Shawn Porter's team. He's not called Kenny Porter. I believe that is because Terence Crawford said he don't want to fight. Terence Crawford doesn't want to fight Kenny Porter. It doesn't want to fight Shawn Porter. And he used to say it was because they were friends. Nobody's going to force them to fight each other unless they get in the room. Well, hey, man, his dad is out there. His team is out there in public saying he want to make the fight. What else is there to say? Pick up the phone and call Shawn Porter. Now, it's obvious that is what he needs to do, because there's nobody else for Terence Crawford to fight. And if he's saying that he really wants to do the Manny Pacquiao fight, let's take Errol Spence Jr. out of it for a second, okay? And get to what is probably a bigger money fight for Terence Crawford, and just say the Manny Pacquiao fight. All right. Shawn Porter gets him in the closer position for a Manny Pacquiao fight, just like it gets him in a better position for an Errol Spence Jr. fight. I said this on the live stream yesterday. I'm going to say it again. Terence Crawford needs to start knocking people off. He's just not in the position where people are going to fight him because they feel like, oh man, this is a cash cow. This is the big money guy. This is what I want to, I want to fight Terence Crawford because of the great reward that I'm going to get for fighting him. It's just not the case, okay? Amir Khan probably only fought him because he got a great reward. Got $7 million. Okay, for $7 million, I'll fight him, okay? Now, they didn't want to give Danny Garcia that $7 million. $7 million, Danny Garcia probably would have taken that too. But hey, man, they didn't want, for some reason, you got $7 million for Amir Khan, but you don't have $7 million for Danny Garcia. But I digress. Terence Crawford would be better served, in my opinion, if his goal really is to unify the division and to get the Errol Spence Jr. fight or get the Manny Pacquiao fight. He would be better served if he knocked off the other people that are in line. The reason why, like, for example, what Tim Smith said yesterday, or said the other day, the VP for the PBC, when he said, look, Errol Spence has other options, other big name option fights that were guys that have already proven themselves at the top of the welterweight division. So you have Danny Garcia, Shawn Porter, Manny Pacquiao. Just use those three as options for Errol Spence Jr. All three of those guys fit that bill. Terence Crawford he's not getting Manny Pacquiao. Okay, so if you knock off Shawn Porter, that's one less option for Manny Pacquiao or Errol Spence Jr. to fight. If he had chosen Danny Garcia and knocked off Danny Garcia instead of Amir Khan, that would have been one less option for Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence Jr. to fight. If he knocks the guys off. But by refusing to fight anybody that is a top welterweight, he's just going to sit around where he is. It's just what it is. Errol Spence Jr. had to knock off top fighters to get into the position that he's in at welterweight. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's just the truth. Errol Spence Jr. beat Kell Brook. Errol Spence Jr. beat Lamont. He beat Lamont Peterson. He beat Mikey Garcia. He beat Shawn Porter. Okay? He beat those guys. Those are legitimate guys at welterweight, with the exception of Mikey Garcia, who was moving up. Okay? Those are legitimate guys at welterweight. Even Lamont Peterson had the WBA. He had the WBA, WBA regular title. Well, actually, I think he had to drop it to fight Errol Spence Jr., but he was a quote unquote champion for the WBA. And I know that's, take that champion with a grain of salt for Lamont Peterson, but it is what it is. Errol Spence Jr. had to fight his way through that. Shawn Porter had to fight his way through that. Shawn Porter's literally fought everybody. He's fought Kell Brook. He's fought Errol Spence Jr. He's fought Danny Garcia. He's fought Keith Thurman, and he's given all those guys very, very tough fights. Now, it is hard for me to believe that does not enter into Terence Crawford's mind when he says he doesn't want to fight him. Shawn Porter has given everybody a tough fight. Everybody. He gave Errol Spence Jr. a tough fight. He gave Kell Brook a tough fight. He gave Keith Thurman a tough fight. He gave Danny Garcia a tough fight. He gave Ordenis Ugas a tough fight. But somehow the guy that has been a two-time champion and has given all of the top welterweights, with the exception of one guy, Manny Pacquiao, and that's because he didn't fight Manny Pacquiao. He's given every one of the other guys, he's either beat them or he was in a knockdown, drag down, close fight, Kell Brook included. That was no walk in the park for Kell Brook, right? Keith Thurman and Kell Brook beat him, but those were not walk in the parks for Kell Brook or Keith Thurman, and both of those guys were champions. Both of them. So why is Terence Crawford above fighting the guy? Could it be because he thinks that by doing that, it might get in the way of the fight? Because when you fight those guys, you're gonna have to beat them. You're gonna have to beat them to get there. But if you fight Shawn Porter and lose, then hey, your fantasy land dream doesn't come true. But here's the thing: if you don't fight him, you're not gonna get him anyway. You're just gonna be sitting over there on ESPN. So just do it, man. It makes no sense for him not to. But anyway, Kenny Porter, put it out there again. Call me, Bob. call me. Now, he said that he's more than likely going to return in the next couple months against a top 10 guy ranked in the WBC because he wants the Errol Spence Jr. rematch. So he's number 1 in the WBC. That's Shawn Porter. He's going to stay ranked high in the WBC. But in the meantime, if Bob Arum calls and Terence Crawford want the fight, that they're going to take the fight. It's sitting on a plate for Terence Crawford. Sitting on a plate. The best fight that he could do to prove him, number one, to prove himself as a welterweight, as one of the top welterweights by fighting in the welterweights. Not proving himself as one of the top welterweights by what he did at 140, but proving he's one of the top welterweights, the 1 or 2 welterweights by beating a guy that's been in the ring with all of them. And that's Shawn Porter. But let's see if that happens. I don't think so, because personally, I think Terence Crawford thinks he might lose. Or Bomac thinks he might lose. That's the only logical explanation for why Terence Crawford says he refuses to fight. And I'm not refuting it. I'm not buying that belt stuff because he's just got done fighting guys without a belt, right? He's fought 3 straight guys without a belt, right? What did David Benavidez have to offer? He didn't have a belt. Amir Khan didn't have a belt. Igis Calvin-Augins, he needed to fight to keep his belt, so you can mark that. But the next guy he fights isn't going to have a belt because the only people with belts are Errol Spence and and Manny Pacquiao, and neither one of them are fighting Terence Crawford next. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. With that, I'm out.